Hello again, everyone. This is Joe Henches with Beyond the Chart, and this is stock market wrap-up for Thursday, April 16th, 2015. We're going to take a look at the market action today and then look at our indicators. Also going to look at China tonight. And then we're going to look at TLT, the dollar index, U.S. oil, and actually it's U.S. 12-month oil and GLD. Four stocks tonight. We'll look at Netflix. Of course, that was the big mover of the day. Panera, United Airlines, and 3D Systems. Okay, so let's look at the Dow here, the markets real quick. The Dow, Doji Bar, down 6.83, so nowheresville. Basically, you know, the question in my mind, is this a stall or is this just a pause in an upward move? I mean, were we stalling out here and we're getting ready to reverse? A little suspicious. Again, we have not taken out this high. No power. You know, had some big moves in here in this move here. The bars aren't so strong in here. So we'll see. So you know, again, this is definitely resistance, but we haven't even come up and touched it. S&P 500. The thing that's looking interesting, same thing with the S&P 500, okay? And look at this little pattern here. You know, if we're talking about a potential top, and let me look at, divergence is a little weak as to whether or not it's divergence, but look at this right here at the top. Same kind of little two-day pattern that we're getting with the bullish bar. Not exactly the same, but close. Here we're getting a little inside day, very, very compressed. Matter of fact, the NASDAQ is the most compressed 20-point high-low today since March 23rd, since right back up here. Okay, so this is the most compressed day since right here when it then went into a sell-off. New York Composite, similar type thing. Okay, we're up here at this trend line. We're getting this little two-day show, kind of like this little two-day show right here, and that's very, very interesting. We'll come back to McClellan also, but it definitely is showing divergence. The RSI is not showing divergence. This is showing divergence. The directional indicator DI plus is showing divergence. So a couple, 2 out of 3 here. Wrong one. Let me go here. So this is really, really interesting to me. We could be getting ready to reverse, and we'll see. And Russell 2000, I'm not sure you can get a whole lot tighter than this. And again, little similar type look as what you had right in here. I mean, we might be a day away. We might maybe tomorrow. I mean, we'll see. We're squeezing on out into. I mean, if I extend this right and extend this one right, you can see we are squeezing out into the apex of this rising wedge. But it clearly does look like a rising wedge to me, and that is typically negative. So we'll see. Let's take a look at our indicators. Short-term trading index pulled up a little bit here on the moving average, so has not come down into that deep oversold, or you know, the extreme reading is what I'm looking for anyway. The VIX, this was kind of interesting. About the same reading as here, actually 2/100ths of a point off, so almost identical. RSI has not gone very much lower, you know, on that move, so not quite a good divergence picture, but we'll see whether or not this is going to put in like a little double bottom and bounce. But right now, you know, that's just pure speculation on my part. If we come back here to the New York Composite, take a look again at the McClellan oscillator. I thought maybe we were going to push up into these peaks right up here, but here we are getting divergence, not confirming the move of the indice higher. Okay, so I think that's kind of interesting because we right here, so this move from here right on up here is not being confirmed by the McClellan oscillator. All right, let's take a look at TLT. still in the sideways. Now it was down today, which means interest rates, long-term interest rates crept up, but still you got to say it's right in this consolidation that's going on. The dollar index, and where is it? It's right here. The dollar index sold off pretty good today. You know, I'm still not quite sure whether, you know, this is the corrective move or whether I'm looking for this to go higher, but this can't be a fourth way because it can't overlap one. So if this is moving higher, either 4 ends here and this is 1, 2, or 4 ends here and this is 1, 2, 1, 2 of a series higher. Now, if this continues down and takes out this low, then, you know, we're into a different scenario. So all you can do is kind of lay out what are possible scenarios that are working. And I'll make a little trend line over here and see what happens. So, I mean, it's always possible that this did not complete yet down in here and that we pulled down into this wedge, into this area here for a wave 4. And that's always possible also. All right, let's take a look at the oil. Where is it? United States 12-month oil. Okay, so this is getting interesting too. Let me pull this over and we'll close, let's see, 4 and 16. Make that dotted line come over to today. So you can see that the high today came right to that dotted line. Okay, so we are right at the top of this resistance zone in here. What's interesting to me is this is starting to look like a double bottom, but you know, it's got to break out above this, and I want to see a close. Okay, I want to see a close above that, and if that happens, then I think, you know, we're going to be in for a push. And given that we had this rapid movement right in here, you could see a fairly quick rise back up to this level, which is what, 35. So that's going to be a question mark. But I think we need to close above this resistance level first. Okay, so that's my assessment of oil for now. And then GLD, where are we? Here we go, gold shares. Okay, so they were down a little bit, but not a whole lot more to read into this other than it looks like it's kind of consolidating, but it just, I don't know, can't make a whole lot more out of it. All right, so let's take a look at, let's start off with 3D systems. 3D systems is trying to put in a bottom, I think, but here's the resistance zone it's going to run into. These two little where sell-offs began, you know, supply came in right in here, and we got close to it today. Notice how it approached it and then it reversed back down. Now that doesn't mean it's going to necessarily come all the way down here. It could be just starting to consolidate in here and then make a run, you know, it's definitely, you know, I like the way it bounced off the bottom of the channel here. It did this where support, you know, the bottom of this primary wave 4, we could very easily be trying to make a new impulse wave up, and you know, we'll need to get through this stuff here, and then of course break out of this channel, this downward channel which I've got here, and this is really this is encompassing all of the corrective action so far. Okay, so you really can't call this into bull mode as far as I'm concerned until we break out of this channel line right here. Okay, we'll see if that develops. And then the next one we'll take a look at is Netflix. And wow, this was explosive action. So this is Netflix. I may have to, well, I definitely got to adjust my wave count. It's just not right. I mean, I thought this was working a 5. It could be. It's just, this is pretty strong action for in a wave 5, but you never know. I mean, look at the huge gaps that went on in wave 3. I mean, look at this huge gap right here. Never got filled. Another big gap that got filled in wave 4. this gap in here got partially filled. I think a lot of, from what I understand, a lot of people were looking for, I know I was looking for this gap to get filled as it came back down. I really thought we were putting in a big top here. And now you got to sit back and wonder, you almost have to, you could almost make the case that this congestion right in here is where, on this explosive move, that it's going to go this distance beyond, okay, because of all this congestion. Here's what I'm talking about, all of this, because of that type thing, that you look at this kind of distance here and the fact that this broke out on such huge volume and big gap. I mean, it could be, going this distance higher. I mean, that's what I'd be suspicious of right now. And what I really need to do is sit back and revisit the LA wave count and see what we've got going on. I mean, so, and I haven't spent enough time on it. Let's see. Oh, I know what I was going to look at on this before I got off this, is the volume and stuff. So you can see the volume was big, but this is 14.8 million. Very, very strong. Okay, so what is this RSI? 88. We had an RSI 87. Very, very strong. You could say it's overbought, but a lot of times that's just telling you we're in another big leg up. Now, okay, this is giving me a little caution. Okay, the fact that I see DI plus this high. Look at this. This is what, 61? Okay, let's take a look at that. So let's go back. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a little line right here at 61, and we're going to look and see how many other times has this thing ever touched 61, and then what was it doing? Okay, here we go. We got one on the upside in the last 10 years. Okay, so there we go. So there's one other move that on DI plus went that strong, and that was on January 25th, 2013, and that was this big move right here, this big gap. So what happened was on January 15th, okay, so right in here on this move, so you got some power to go, and then you're going to go sideways, consolidate a little bit. But I mean, it was definitely strong. The RSI is kicking off, so that's kind of interesting that is part of a major leg up right in there with that strong a move. So we'll see. Again, I talked about that consolidation for the type of move, but it sure looks strong now. The last one we'll take a look at tonight is Panera, and Panera was not nearly the degree of, I think Netflix was up 17%. I think Panera was up 11% for the day. But huge move here too, huge. But the picture is a little unclear. Okay, number one, Netflix is in wide open spaces. Okay, the wild blue yonder. It's never been where it is right now. Panera, on the other hand, I think is going to run into overhead, problems, because it is peaked out up here in the 90s on two other major moves in the last couple of years. And so now it's approaching at 185. Now, granted, it's doing a huge gap, huge volume, but again, it's not nearly the situation that Netflix is, I don't think. And, really hard to tell. You're outside the Keltner channels. You're way at an extreme, huge volume. You could easily get a pullback and get some consolidation. Right now, I think my assessment is this thing is it doesn't have a ton more. It could come up here into the low 90s and then pull back. Okay, that's it for tonight. That's a look at those four stocks for today. We'll be back on Saturday with a weekend update. So everyone have a great Friday, and if you felt like the video was helpful, please share it. And if you're not a subscriber, subscribe. It's very easy to do. Just first name and email gives you access to the Trade Ideas webpage. And by the way, UAL, we were looking for. Did I talk about UAL? I think I missed that. I was going to talk about UAL, didn't I? Didn't talk about UAL. All right, hold on. All right, here we go. I'm negative on UAL. I'm actually looking for an entry to buy puts. I think we're in a downswing. I think we've got a head and shoulders top that's working, and I think we're down. Now, granted, we were up today, but when I look at that up day, this is the lowest volume of the last 4 days. It wasn't even close to the 50-day moving average of the volume. RSI is below 50. Demand index is below 0. It's negative. And DI minus is above DI plus. So right now, all the indicators are negative. Sure, we got a little bounce. I'm still looking for this. I don't have an entry. We're not in yet, but I've got a specific point in time where I want to get in. And I'm still looking for it to fulfill the head and shoulders move down here to 54. And so we'll see if we can get that. So that's it on United Airlines. All right, I knew there was one I was missing. Okay, we'll be back on Saturday with the weekend update. Everyone have a great Friday.